Hello, in this short video we are going to investigate the following A-level problem on the topic of differentiation rules. Consider the following functions. F of x is given with the following rule and g of x is given with the following rule. The exact value of f prime of 0 times g of 0 plus f of 0 g prime of 0 is equal to which one of these options that you see here now. Pause the video at this point and give it a try to see which one of the following options is the correct answer to the problem. Okay, these are the functions f and g given. We're supposed to answer this question mark. One naive approach is of course to calculate f prime of 0, g of 0, f of 0, g prime of 0. How? If I want to calculate f of 0 and g of 0, I simply replace x with 0 and I get numbers. And if I want to calculate f prime 0 and g prime 0, first I have to differentiate f of x and g of x using the chain rule, and then calculate f prime 0 and g prime 0, and then finally multiply f prime 0 by g 0 and f 0 by g prime 0 and add them up. This will give me the question mark. But it would be very lengthy unnecessarily, because I hope that everyone agrees that this rule that you see here is similar to one of the differentiation rules, which is of course the product rule. Yes, but how should you use that property, rule, to simplify the calculation here? Okay, another motivation behind that this might be the product rule is that multiplying these two functions are fairly simple if you realize that we can use the conjugate rule. So the first thing comes to mind is to define a function h of x to be the product of f and g. Why this is useful? Because now if I ask you what is the derivative of h, you can use the product rule. The derivative of the first one multiplied by the second one itself plus the other way around. The first one itself multiplied by the derivative of the second one. And now if I ask you to calculate h prime of 0, you will replace every appearance of x with 0, which gives you f prime of 0, g of 0 plus f of 0 multiplied by g prime of 0. But you immediately recognize that is exactly the question mark that you are supposed to answer. So the question mark that you are supposed to answer is just simply what is h prime of 0. But what is h of x? H of x is the product of these two functions, but the product of these two functions is very easy to calculate. How? So let me do that here. If I ask you to calculate f of x, g of x, you can write f of x with 6th power as the product of f of x with first power, so I mean this combination with the first power, sorry for that, to the power of 1, and then multiplied by square root of x plus 2 minus the square root of x plus 1 to the power of 5. So what I have done so far, I have written just f of x in decomposed form. So I have decomposed this exponent 6 to exponent 1 and exponent 5, and then I multiplied this by g of x, which is this expression, with exponent 5. You will see why this is useful. This becomes square root of x plus 2 plus a square root of x plus 1 to the power of 5. I copy and paste the first one. Of course, I don't need to put this power of 1 anymore, so I just copy and paste it without the exponent. The square root of x plus 2 minus the square root of x plus 1. But then here you see that I have two powers with the same exponent 5 with different bases. So what I can do, I can multiply the bases. Yes, I can multiply the bases, and then I can put a power of 5 up there. But that is very useful. Why? Because this forms the conjugate pattern. So the answer becomes the first one squared minus the second one squared. But the first one squared is just simply x plus 2 minus the second one squared becomes minus x plus 1. If you open up the pair of brackets and apply the minus sign to x and minus to x and 1, then what you get is just simply 1. So now you see that how simpler the calculation is in this way, because the hard part just turns out to be 1. So the product of x times g of x is simply this function. So this becomes square root of x plus 2 minus square root of x plus 1. And now this is your h of x. Now what I want to do is to calculate h prime of 0. But to calculate h prime of 0, I have to calculate h prime of x. But the derivative of this function is 1 over 2 square root of x plus 2 multiplied by the derivative of x plus 2, which of course is 1, so it will not change anything, minus the derivative of the second bit is also this, 2 square root of x plus 1 multiplied by the derivative of x plus 1, which is of course 1. So h prime of x is found, and now my goal is to calculate h prime of 0, which is my question mark. So it means that I replace x with 0. So this becomes 2 square root of 2 minus 1 over 2 square root of 1, which is 1. So that is the answer. But this answer in this form is not among the options, so I will take the common denominator. So the common denominator is 2 square root of 2. So the first one has no changes in it, but the second one should be multiplied by square root of 2. Yes? So if you take the common denominator, so the answer will be this, which of course here is the option D. I hope that this video was useful for you. Until the next video, be safe and goodbye. Thank you.